additions to Twitch in recent times. Anyways, guys, it is time to go into this best of 3 TvT. This man to the bottom right is oftentimes said to be a god, but can he overcome the Terran god? To the bottom right hand side, a red Terran player from Brazil, from OSC-ROOT. It's Kelazhur. 1-1 in this group right now. If he could take down ByuN, he would possibly advance based on map score. Would be depend. Probably wouldn't actually. I think Dark would have a better map score than him. Depends on what his score against ByuN would be. He actually might have a. I don't know. It's hard to say. Round robin groups are very difficult to figure out. As we have to the top left hand side, our blue Terran player. We just saw him taking a 2-0 victory against Dark, arguably his biggest opponent in this group. It is ByuN here to the top left hand side of Echo, map number 1 of this best of 3. Whew, what a day so far, guys. Great games here in the Leifeng Cup number 158. And don't forget, we're live at the Leifeng Cup every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 1 PM CET. Make sure you tune in, drop on by, and come say hello. Come say hi, let me know what's up, and watch some fantastic, amazing StarCraft 2 with us all. It's appreciated. Tomorrow, from 1 PM CET, SGL Cup number 6. $750 on the line as we enter Group C of the competition. Innovation, Classic, Keen, and Maxed. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Love you, Wardy. Thank you for casting such awesomeness. Well, thank you for tuning in, Jerry Karuga. Seen you in the chat a lot the last few days. Appreciate the continued support. As we do set up into this TvT, I should talk a little bit about these builds, because it is going to be aggression early from both, it would seem. Hellion on the way, and React on the way as well. It's actually mirrored builds at this point. Starport building on the tech lab for ByuN already, though, so that's a little bit of a difference as Kelazhur. His build looks, I mean, he's double gas, so you would expect probably to be a tech lab built in the factory now, and then a Cloak Banshee to swap onto it, or something along those lines. You know, obviously it could be a Raven and a Viking combo to help keep him safe. A few different ways to do this, as we see tech lab coming up on this factory. So tech lab up on the factory for now. Starport does finish up, and Starport lives, heads on up, and we'll drop down onto the tech lab here. So tech lab is going to be activated. Cloak on the way from both Cloak Banshee openings. And is it going to be the Widow Mine as well? Yes, it is. Both players doing the exact same thing. ByuN cancels his oh no, his Widow Mine finishes. That's because he built the tech lab beforehand. So just slight differences in the build orders, but very similar. Kelazhur's build actually gets him a couple more Marines out here early on. So, you know, a couple more Marines early, a little bit of a later Widow Mine. Very slight differences in the early stages of the game. As we set on up into this, with Widow Mine going to be finishing up in just a few moments' time. As again, those Marines do gather up together and just sit on top of the natural ramp. Kelazhur ready to defend. And as we see, ByuN going to be the first player to drop an expansion down. Kelazhur is not far away, though. You can see he's starting to approach that 400 minerals every now and then, so he's getting towards that. He's getting to that point. And here comes the hatchery, going to be dropping. Sorry, not the hatchery, the command center. Oh, how horrible of me! Getting Terran buildings mixed up with Zerg buildings. Ugh. Banshees run by each of us. That's good information right from the get-go. And look at the interception set up by Kelazhur. Runs in with the Marines. That's a dead Banshee. ByuN loses his first Banshee right away. And he's building a Raven at home, so it might even be worth him cancelling Cloak. As the Banshee of Kelazhur runs in, he's also going to take some damage. Should not go down, though. And his Cloak does complete, as does ByuN, so he does let it finish here. And he'll at least force out a scan. And then the Banshee goes down as well. Neither player doing much damage with the Banshee, but at least Kelazhur forced a scan. That is a small relief, at least, here in the early stages. Viking on the way up from both players right now, so Viking continue to come on up here. Command centers can be finishing very shortly as well. ByuN with a couple worker lead. Kelazhur with a slight army supply lead. Again, both players in very similar positions at this point. Just wait to see how it all continues on. Wait to see how it all accumulates in the next few minutes. But going into the mid game, I'd say both are kind of fairly happy with how the early game's going. I mean, neither of them happy about losing the Banshee, but the fact they both lost their Banshee is the fact, you know, it can be said like, hey, I mean, okay, cool, I mean, losing the Banshee sucks, but At least I killed his Banshee as well, right? So they can't be unhappy with the situation, I don't think. Vikings on the way from Kelazhur. He looks to be trying to establish some air control here early. This looks to be the very standard TvT build. Like both of these guys are doing. I've seen players doing this a lot the last few days. So people have been doing really kind of leaning towards this sort of opening lately. For the cloaked Banshees, Widow Mine, and so on. So that's what people have been going for, as we see. Well, ByuN goes for Engineering Bay. That's we're actually going to be seeing both players diversify a little bit. The 2-tank and 2-tank drop with 8 Marines as well will be setting up here from ByuN. He's going to be setting that up as soon as these medevacs pop. So he's going to look to be aggressive in towards the main base of his opponent. Whereas Kelazhur, well, he's got Vikings up. His army is very much so... Oh, is he going to push as well? That's interesting. His medevac's actually going to go down the left-hand side. The Viking and Raven are over here as well. This is awkward. So they're going to bypass each other. If these Vikings and the Raven stays over here from Kelazhur, actually, I feel as though he might be able to clean this up without too much of an issue. The Vikings see the medevacs. He's going to turn. He's going to get rid of that medevac with the tanks inside. ByuN loses so much. He's going to be losing a Viking as well. I don't think Kelazhur just realized what he did because he sat AFK with these Vikings. Isn't reacting to them at all. That's actually kind of awkward because that's actually really, really good here for Kelazhur. Like, he's killed so much. This attack will still come in though, and an auto turret's still available. So Kelazhur not having that tank siege is a bit of an issue. But he can go straight up to this high ground. I don't think he shouldn't waste time. By just sitting on this low ground, I don't think. He's going to drop an auto turret towards the mineral line. Kelazhur should get in here. He needs to do damage of his own, because he's taking damage on this low ground. Like, he's taking a lot of damage. Problem is, if he tries to get to the high ground, this tank is in position to actually do a lot of damage on the way in. And the tanks are in range of the command center, but he can just prepare up. And Kelazhur's actually lost workers here. He has to pull down to the low ground. He's going to lose more workers, because he has to save this command center. Kelazhur has to do a little bit more than what he's doing right now. He's going to lose high ground vision because the Viking count comes back in from ByuN. And although this was initially disastrous for ByuN, he's still taking the better trade because Kelazhur has no quick access towards his opponent's base. And he's sort of just stuck on the low ground, unable to really deal the damage, which he should be able to deal, I think. Now, this is unfortunate. If he kept the Vikings alive, Kelazhur, it would have been a much different scenario across the map. This tank being repaired, you can see ByuN just toggling down SCV after SCV. He knows the situation he's in. He's going to try and get the tank once again now. Is he going to get it? 2 Marines left. They're just going to lift up and back away. 23 workers killed, and ByuN takes a 20 worker lead in the game. Army supplies will stay even. This was... I can't believe us went this way. Wow. That's crazy. Anyway, Stim's going to finish from both players, plus 1 attack will be finishing for... It's already finished for Kelazhur, actually. As he stims forwards, he'll be able to pick off that medevac. Maybe a bit of an overstim there with some of those units, but... Well, he gets the medevac, so that is something, as we're going to see those 2 medevacs up in the sky flying out, and it's going to be ByuN once again moving across to get further damage done here in Game 1 of this Best of 3 series in the TvT. Again, what a crazy few minutes, as we really just saw kind of players ping-ponging between advantage and disadvantage. As we're going to be seeing these Marines will just kind of stim on, come on forwards. Kelazhur moves through the center of the map then. His tank count should be pretty good in comparison, right? 4 against 3. I guess he lost one. That one that was on siege in the natural. I don't know if it was right to have that on siege, because I sort of thought about it at the time, didn't mention it as this drop comes in from ByuN. But you think about it, like, Kelazhur left that tank on siege. Maybe it's because he knows if it's sieged up, it's just going to get dropped on top of and a Raven auto turret and it just dies. So maybe it was better to leave it unsieged. I mean, it sounds stupid to say, but you never know. Combat shields goes down, another tech lab as well, so no more tank production for a little while here. As ByuN will have his third base cancelled, but Kelazhur losing another 11 workers. I mean, put it this way, we need to see something pretty serious coming in from Kelazhur in the next few minutes to kind of recover himself in this. These tanks going to come in towards the main. This player's not going to work out, and the medevac's going to go down, loses a tank. The other tank is going to go down as well. And ByuN continues to just pick away at so much here now. Marines and tanks are coming to the center. There's GG. ByuN will take game number 1. Really fun game though. With that, we go into game number 2. We quit being sellouts, and we go into being StarCraft casters, as we have to the bottom right hand side. And we're red. Terran player. He really did make a really good effort in game number 1. Unfortunately, things just didn't go out his way. And in TvT, in early game as well, especially, I feel it's this matchup which can go super great or super bad, super quickly, depending on very small decisions. As we have the red Terran player Kelazhur to the bottom side of the map. And to the top side, our blue Terran is going to be ByuN. Wow, the SC tryhards are out on mass today. So many of them. So many of them. CC comes down in this natural expansion, and ByuN just begins to set on up into a very standard Reaper expansion. Factory comes down as well. Kelazhur is going to go 2 Rax Reapers, so this is going to be a fairly fast expansion from Kelazhur as well, but behind a little bit more pressure. And the 2 Rax Reaper in the TvT, and this is going to be an expansion, no second gas means there's not going to be a factory follow-up for kind of a big kind of, pressure play. And that makes sense because it's very difficult to attack up this ramp into the main, and obviously you can't get the natural without going through the main, so if you add on Hellions and so obviously like Reapers can jump up the sides, which is why this build is actually pretty good on this map. But if you added Hellions on, a more aggressive version, then the natural is just unreachable. It's not too crazy. Anyways, 2 Reapers going to join up on the center of the watchtower and going to continue to move across the map. I had a friend who flipped a frying pan to flip a pancake, but the handle broke because it was old and nobody's... Yeah, oh my god, that is the story. That's the story I told. I couldn't remember if it was that story or another pancake story. Yeah, that one's funny. It's funny in story mode when you kind of build it up to the fact that she was really afraid of flipping the pancake because she thought she was going to like ruin the pancake and it was going to go wrong and stuff. She was really afraid and terrified, and then the handle broke. Oh my god, such a good story. That's funny. Look at this, Brazilia's TV mega fan remembers the pancake story. What a god. Anyways, this Reapers did jump up in towards the main base, and they did pick off a Reaper there, so to get back into the game. Nothing really too major. If anything more major was happening, I would have jumped back in sooner, but really just a little bit of pressure from Kelazhur, and his 3 Reapers will just join up together now as he goes into Tech Lab Reactor, and Marines on the way. Some Marines on the way out. And there's going to be seeing the Reapers just spread out a little bit, just some map control being taken. Now we are going to see some Hellions moving across here. It's going to be a Marine Hellion elevator play from ByuN off of this expand. So we'll see what sort of direction this continues to go in, as we see Marines just going to be jumping on into that medevac here to begin with, and 8 Marines in the medevac, and these 3 Hellions are still hanging back for a moment, actually waiting for the Reapers to jump back in perhaps. How long will he wait though? Does he wait? Does he just not bring the Hellions across at all? Because I feel that might be a bit of a mistake. Very intrigued to see how this goes. We're going to see these Marines starting to drop off, and Reapers just go down to the left-hand side. So all the Marines jumping back into this medevac here, and they're just going to come down to the south, and a few more Marines from Kelazhur just going to sit here and wait for something else to happen. So 3 Marines just going to sit here in the main base. And Hellions continue to come across as well. Still 2 Reapers sat on this watchtower. So here we go. Hellions and Marines going to push up the ramp and going to start targeting down one of these depots. So Hellions just come across the map in the end, but I think Kelazhur actually has plenty of Marines to work with here. Actually kills off one Hellion, no lift there as the tank comes in. And obviously ByuN saw that as he pulls away. Look at that, just keeping those couple of Hellions alive. Yeah, Kelazhur might go in and try and kill a Reaper, a Hellion here actually. Gets one of them with the grenade. I mean, killing one is better than killing none. Stimpack finishes as well. That's going to be the major advantage of Kelazhur in this game. Having Stimpack so early, he's going to really be able to apply a lot of pressure. Second tank coming out, and you know what? He's going to go for that push which ByuN made in the last game. The 2 medevacs, the double tank drop, and those 8 Marines. So he's going to have Stim with it though, which is going to make it super powerful. And that's kind of the, it's just what sort of 2-act Reaper brings you into. However, at the same time, ByuN's been aggressive as well. He's just going to try and stop Kelazhur from getting into a aggressive position himself. Already killing off 11 workers. What Kelazhur needs to do is clean this up, which he is going to do. That tank goes down. Tank back makes life a lot easier in terms of cleaning stuff up like that. Yeah, so what Kelazhur needs to do is clean this up and then go to counterattack himself as soon as possible, I think. Get across, get some damage done, and just go from there. We're going to see this medevac just go down. And we'll see those couple of Marines getting picked off as well. I'm just going to be seeing the medevac of ByuN coming up back home. So he did save one medevac. And here we go, Kelazhur will begin to boost across the map himself. But plenty of Vikings out. I feel as though ByuN's probably bought himself enough time to prepare back at home with enough units. The power of that drop is that it can hit in so many different locations, and as it hits in different locations, you can't just preemptively siege tanks against it. You just avoid the tanks to your opponent, and that's the real power play of this. As we're going to see, Kelazhur loses one of the medevacs. The other one will go down as well, and he does unload at least some of the units out of the second one, but still not great. The Viking goes down. Trades a Viking for a Viking at the end, but definitely a better trade for Kelazhur, for ByuN overall. And you can just see the game starting to really flip into ByuN's favor. 48 to 38 workers. We're going to see 28 to 19 army supply. Third base finished and morphing into an orbital versus third base just starting. Upgrades still go the way of Kelazhur. He's got stim already. He's got combat shields already. +1 is much further along for him. But he needs to get something done with those upgrades if he wants to stay in the game. And that's not happening with these Vikings denying drops and all the rest of it. Kelazhur is just not finding an opportunity to be aggressive. And without an opportunity to be aggressive, he's well, just going to sit in this position, which is not brilliant. Medevac going to go up the left-hand side. And Kelazhur just going to be going to see what he can get up to. I mean, again, he really does need to try and get something done with this drop play, I think. And loads towards the fourth. I guess he might stim towards the third to try and pick off some SCVs in that direction. And the third, for now, fairly unprotected. Tanks are not far enough forwards or anything like that. Single Reaper sits on the watchtower to kind of keep an eye out, see what else is going on. But the reality is there isn't too much going on. Marines stim in towards the third. I mean, takes him down. We can pull it back in time. He's got reinforcements nearby enough to come in and fight against this. So there's one single drop. There is a double drop, actually. The command side might have died, but just one medevac units. And ByuN is able to keep the CC rolling in. Well, as Kelazhur goes up into 5 racks now, he's starting to lose his advantages. You know, combat shields is still his only is going to be his only advantage in upgrades in the next few seconds because 1-1's going to finish for ByuN. He'll have a slightly faster +2, but it's nowhere near as substantial as it was before. And again, like, combat shields upgrade is actually the main thing. And right now, ByuN just seems to be forgetting about that. No reason for him not to have started it. He does have the money as well. He's got the gas just lying there, so just needs to remember he doesn't have combat shields, otherwise this could be a bit more troublesome in the near future. But there it is. Combat shields on the way. And so everything's starting to even out for both players here in Game 2 of the series. And ByuN, of course, with a 2 against Dark, has a really good chance of taking a flawless victory through the group here today without dropping a map. And that's very possible, considering that after Kelazhur, if he wins this game right now, he'd only have to 2 a Jim. I mean, at the same time, I mean, he doesn't have to go flawless, but it's just cool. We saw Innovation take a flawless group yesterday, and it's just cool to see players being so dominant, and especially when ByuN has to play Dark as well, taking a flawless group is pretty darn impressive. As you can see, again, a little bit of damage there. Tanks going to siege up already for ByuN, and Kelazhur does not find a way to fight this. ByuN starts to sim forwards. I mean, he doesn't have combat shields, so I don't think he can realistically expect to be able to fight here anytime soon. Actually lifts up those Marines and immediately heads down the right side of the map to go and drop. Kelazhur has some units in position. I mean, he could drop in towards the main. That's the thing about Varney. There's so many locations to drop in. It's hard to always be in the right locations as a Terran player to defend those drops. A few of those Vikings from ByuN just going to be gathering together on the left-hand side. Stands in towards the natural. ByuN sees these units over here, so he's just going to unload instead. And probably the smarter choice, I guess, is you can just see these double medevacs healing up. And at the same time, big tank force with Marine support. Thinking about moving down the left-hand side, it looks as though we are going to have this attack, but some Vikings will come in overhead as well. And so this attack will move down the left to see where it can get to. This is some Marines moving forwards here. You're going to see that Marine of Kelazhur again taken down also. Another Marine of Kelazhur taken down over on the left too. And these units just spreading up a little bit from ByuN. I'm going to be continuing to move down this left side to see what else is going on. So Vikings leading the charge, and they'll try and get a medevac kill. Pick nice and early, as you can see. Ooh, first tank shots do go the way of Kelazhur. Gets a couple of tank shots off. One medevac falls. Marines get ready to try and pick off the Vikings, however. And ByuN just slowly starting to move his way down this left-hand side. Just slowly starting to position himself. Still Kelazhur committing to units in the natural because he's afraid of those drops. And that's supply which he's missing. He's already down supply. Now he's going to be missing supply in the fight because of that as well. As, oh my god, ByuN sieges his tanks and he's just going to get so much damage done. This tank cannot get out in time. And again, a few more tanks to Kelazhur just trying to reposition. I mean, ByuN moves forwards again. He's once again going to have the vision advantage, and this tank will not last very long at all. Another medevac goes down. This is really not looking pretty as we see the Marines stimming in, but man, there's so many tanks. Yes, he picks off the Vikings, the majority of them, but it costs him so many Marines while doing so, and Kelazhur, his supply keeps on dropping with this attack of ByuN, and it just advances further and further forwards. Workers going down now as well as he gets behind the mineral line. Things just continue to improve here from ByuN as we can see a little bit of a drop in towards these tanks. He messes it up though, doesn't drop properly. Costs him a few Marines, at least he didn't lose the medevac. It wasn't a complete disaster as ByuN sets up a 4th base behind all of this. His confidence, building it in position. Kelazhur has a 4th CC. I mean, the question is, can he do enough with it in time? He's going to see this drop. He's going to come back in, try and drop on towards the SCV. He's actually for splash damage. It's actually a pretty smart idea. If you can splash onto those SCVs with the tanks, it's actually a pretty good way to pick up a couple kills. Another army for ByuN, and at this point, I guess he comes in from the left and right at the same time and just makes a mega flank. He's actually going to see this command center, so that's going to go down super quickly. ByuN already attacking on in towards that. And these Marines just moving up towards the top side of the map as well. Kelazhur with a little bit of a counter attack to try and maybe pull this around a little bit. I'm just going to be seeing this command center falling. And Marines and tanks are going to come in from the right. We need to see what's going to be happening here. A few tanks going to see you join up. Medevac's going to jump in towards the main base as well. We're not even going to see a big engagement end